Successful Escapes, number 22. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. Many people access my work. Millions who read my blog and watch my YouTube videos. Thousands who have spoken to me in consultation. What they all gain is the ability and the tools to have insight, understanding, and gain freedom from the relevant narcissistic entanglement that they found themselves in. My work works. It's hugely effective because I, as a narcissistic psychopath, not only understand myself, but understand more of my kind. And therefore, as part of the extension of my legacy, I'm able to convey to you in terms which are not esoteric nor scientific, but ones which are clear of understanding, so that you can then realize that's why that happened. Ah, that's what that meant. Aha, that's what I've been doing wrong. And that's giving me the tools which I can now apply to get to the right place. My testimonials, which you can find at narcsite.com in the menu bar in the other section, contain the observations from many people that have used the audio consultations, the narc detectors, the empath detectors, material from the Knowledge Vault. And you can read there how they found that useful, alongside this series, which is here to give you inspiration and encouragement, and perhaps to give you that sense of fortitude to continue where you might feel that you're struggling. First, we're going to hear from Simon, who's got a slightly unusual twist upon the Successful Escapes theme. Here's Simon.
Hello, my name is Simon Rumley, and my escape is not from someone else, but from myself. I'm recording this because of HG Tudor has effectively made my life worth living, and I'm 67. It's been a long road, but here we are. Born of a narcissist mother who defined my life, a narcissist brother, an empath father who died very young because of the stress of being devalued, all unknown to me until recently. I went through life with relationships and marriage, always ensnared by narcissists, having no idea why I was always so unhappy. Business partners always exploited me, and I always tried to make it work. Friends I was like a magnet, as George Clooney said in the movie. I was like ice cream for freaks. Every narcissist in the world wanted me because I was so malleable, so acceptable. I was always sad because of being devalued. I was always wondering why I was so sad. I went to psychiatrists, I was on drugs, Prozac, for years and years and years. I even went to the Black Dog Institute, which is an eminent institute in Sydney, Australia, where I am living. Eminent psychiatrist diagnosed me because of my father's constant worry and stress. They assumed my depression was genetic and put me on drugs. And then they also, and this was the key to later success with HG Tudor, they also did diagnose me with probable borderline personality. Years later, when I found HG Tudor, I watched his video about borderline being, in his opinion, either suffering from PTSD or the other half being narcissists. I assumed I was a narcissist. I took his test and I was clearly an empath. So therefore, I was suffering from PTSD brought on by my mother's abuse, mental abuse. And from that moment on, my life has been worth living. I'm now 67. I don't know how long I've got to go, but the rest is going to be very good because of HG Tudor. And I thank him from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you to Simon for sharing what are clearly his very much deeply felt sentiments about achieving a successful escape. Next, we're going to hear from Susan, who is from Germany. He's going to relay her detailed experiences of what happened to her and, more importantly, what she did about it.
Hello, HG and listeners. This is Susan from Germany. Unbeknownst to me at the time, I was married to a narcissist for 10 years. We have 2 now grown-up sons together. I was lucky enough to get out of the marriage, and my divorce was in 2005. I still didn't know anything about narcissism and was, of course, very confused and tried my very best to co-parent with a very difficult man. Even after my divorce, the financial abuse went on. I didn't even realize that because I was glad he had moved out and I could bring up my sons in peace. We had a great family life because thankfully he wasn't interested in seeing his children too often, which was good. Then, in 2015, he started harassing me again for money. Our youngest child had finished school, and I was looking for a new place to live. We still had shared property of a house. He wanted my part of it, so he dragged me back into family court, and in real good narcissist fashion he got everything because I still wasn't sure what he was, and I didn't really want to fight. And my knowledge of narcissism wasn't extensive as yet. It was at that time that I found information about narcissism on the internet, and all of a sudden, lots of things that happened and were still happening made a lot more sense. Somehow, HG Tudor's work showed up in my news feed, and that changed everything for me. I'm still listening to his work every single day. I've read quite a few of his books. I started a strict no-contact regimen. The ex-narcissist's emails went straight to my lawyer and my oldest son, who has been very supportive of me. However, I had to see the ex-narcissist in court one more last time. I ignored him. I didn't even say hello or looked at him. He won the case. He got another 30,000 euros out of me. But when it was over, he stormed out of the courtroom, went straight to my friend Helen, who was waiting outside, and said to her, "She doesn't even look at me," and off he went. It was the last time I saw him. He got so much money out of me. He never paid enough child support. But me ignoring him seemed to affect him on a rather deep level. He couldn't destroy me. I ignored him. That was wounding the narcissist. He had always threatened to ruin me financially, and during our marriage he either said, "If you leave me, I'll bash your brains in," or "If you leave me, you and your children will starve in the streets." Well, not his children, my children. I lost so much money. I'm still paying off legal fees. But I'm free, and I learned a lot about the human condition. I'm a teacher, and every school year I do projects on abusive relationships. My teenage students profit from everything I have learned the hard way. They listen because I tell them my story. It would be great if HG's material was available in German, by the way. I did the empath detector. I was afraid that I was the narcissist actually, but I'm not. I'm an empath, and I'm attracted to narcs and vice versa. I can recommend the empath detector to everyone. You get a very thorough analysis which helps you to understand how you tick and how to be safe from narcissists. Looking back, every single romantic relationship I've ever been in was with a narcissist. This is quite frustrating, I must admit. As all of you know, the golden period is really something. Before I got married, I actually ended 2 or 3 relationships as soon as the devaluing began. But I was stuck in my marriage because of the children and because he controlled our finances. Never hand over the control of your money to a narcissist ever. I learned that the hard way. It is really difficult to leave, when you have 2 little children, no job, and your self-esteem has been destroyed bit by bit over the years. Looking back, I pity the woman who I had become because of the abuse. However, I have managed to get my life back, and I don't tolerate bullshit anymore. With all the knowledge I possess now, I can smell a narcissist pretty soon. I am narcissist-free in my private environment. I am no contact with a couple of narcissists, and I used to be friends with or are family. As HG keeps saying, once you know, you go. No contact is so powerful. There are times my emotional thinking kicks in and I get terribly angry at what happened, and I'd love to tell the ex-narcissist what a horrible being he is, that he made 10 years of my and my son's life miserable, that it is a miracle that our sons turned out to be such wonderful young men, even though they had to suffer his rages, his abuse, his devaluations. But I know better now. I keep my emotional thinking in check. A couple of weeks ago, my oldest son visited me. He said, "I know you don't want to hear anything from him, but listen, he contacted me because he wants to have a better son-father relationship. I went to see him because I was curious. I told him that we can't have a relationship because of the abuse and because we have nothing in common. And Mum, he's an old, unhappy, shriveled little man. And you, look at you, you're a beautiful, happy woman who has a great life, just that you know." Thank you, HG, for your work. It is the best that's out there. I stopped listening to the other so-called experts. Your work covers everything I need to know about narcissism, empaths, and their dynamic. And thank you to all your listeners and your comments. Your comments help too, and they're often funny. Keep up the good work. The peace I have now was worth everything I lost. Well, it sounds a bit like a fridge magnet platitude, but you know, I can relate 100%. I wish you all the best and a happy life and a narcissist-free life. Bye for now and tschüss.
Thank you to Susan for sharing her experience and the way that she utilised my work to achieve her freedom. If you would like to share your own experiences, then you can send in a video or an audio file, or if necessary, a written version which I'll narrate for you, to narcissist1909@gmail.com with the heading Successful Escape. Feel free to share your experiences to inspire others. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.